Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down how one tiny moment at a concert, I'm talking a 15-second clip on a Jumbotron, somehow snowballed into a full-blown corporate meltdown and really a global internet obsession.
All right, so let's just get right into it. The cause and effect here, they seem completely out of whack, right? A 15-second clip leads to this? So the real question we have to ask is, how in the world does something so small trigger such a massive professional and personal fallout?
So, to really get a grip on the impact here, we've got to rewind. Let's go back to the very epicenter of it all. A packed stadium, a huge screen, and just one single throwaway comment that, nobody could have predicted would lead to, well, all of this. The kiss cam. You know it, right? It's a staple at concerts, sporting events. It's usually just some harmless fun, meant to get a laugh out of the crowd. But this time, yeah, it turned into an accidental and very public expose. Okay, so picture this. The camera lands on them, but the reaction is, well, it's not what you'd expect at all. Instead of a playful kiss or, a wave to the crowd, they just panic. They immediately start trying to hide their faces from the tens of thousands of people watching. And this is the exact moment the fuse was lit. The band's frontman, Chris Martin, he cracks a joke, totally clueless that he just kicked off a viral firestorm that was about to completely engulf the two people on his screen. So what happens next is just a textbook example of modern internet culture. The second that video hit social media, it wasn't about a concert anymore. It became something else entirely. The speed of this whole thing is just staggering. We're talking from a viral clip to a CEO's resignation in just 4 days. The internet didn't just report the story here. It threw gasoline on the fire. And because the company said nothing at all for over 2 days, it created this huge vacuum. And you know what rushes into a vacuum? Misinformation. We saw everything from AI deepfake apologies to totally phony press releases. It was a true digital infodemic. And this really shows the collateral damage in the real world. You had people who had nothing to do with this, like this poor video designer who just happened to have the same name, suddenly gets swept up in all the chaos. He was forced to come out and publicly clear his name. So this gets us to a really crucial point, how the company handled this initial shockwave. Because their response, or, their lack of one, created two totally different realities, one for the business, and a much harsher one for the individuals caught in the middle of the storm. Can you believe it? For more than 2 full days, while this story is just exploding all over the world, becoming a huge trending topic, the company at the heart of it all said absolutely nothing. They just let the internet run wild and completely control the narrative. So once the corporate fallout actually started, it was fast. Both the CEO and the chief people officer, that's the head of HR, were out. They just left the billion-dollar company that they helped build. Now, from the corporate side of things, the new interim CEO, he tried to find a silver lining pretty quickly. He basically said, yeah, this was chaos, but hey, now our company is a household name. Notorious fame, but fame nonetheless. But on a personal level, well, the story was much, much darker. Sources close to Kristin Cabot came out and said there was no affair, but revealed the absolutely extreme harassment that followed. We're talking hundreds of death threats. The human cost here was just staggering. So that brings us to what happened after the resignations. The people involved, they had to start this really complex and very public process of managing the crisis and trying to somehow reclaim their own stories. And then, in a really fascinating twist, the former HR chief, well, she's now positioning herself as a case study in how to survive a personal brand crisis. She's literally stepping onto a stage to talk about the very firestorm that completely consumed her life. And this move, going from a viral scandal to a pretty pricey keynote speech, it really highlights a very modern way of dealing with public shaming. You turn the whole experience into expertise, and then you monetize it. So, what does all this really mean? When you step back, this one single incident, it just opens up a much, much bigger conversation about the world we're all living in right now. Ultimately, this whole story leaves us with a huge question. In a world where every single phone is a camera and any public space can become a stage, this story isn't really just about two people at a concert. It's about our entire culture of surveillance, of shame, and those lines between our public and private lives that are getting blurrier and blurrier every single day.